Hands up if this has ever happened to you. You've been out flying for a day, you come in and you start to watch the videos and look at the photos you've captured with your drone. They just don't look great. Or at the very least, they weren't the quality you were expecting them to be. Yep, that's happened to me too. Or maybe you've just bought a drone and no matter how hard you try, you can't get videos to match the quality of the clips you see online all the time. Well, today I'm going to go over 5 reasons why your drone footage might not look like the pros and how to fix it. These are common problems I've made myself over many years of flying a drone, and I've come up with solutions on how to fix each one that will make dramatic differences to the quality of the videos and photos you get with your drone. Let's jump right in. So the first reason why your drone footage might not look like the pros is because location is king. If you're somewhere that doesn't have a point of interest, that isn't particularly scenic, then the videos aren't going to look very exciting. Now you might say, well, how do I find these awesome places to fly? Well, I've come up with a couple of solutions that should hopefully help you. The first and the simplest is to simply Google scenic locations and then your area. So for me, I would maybe do scenic locations Northern Ireland, scenic locations Ireland, and generally speaking, you'll find pages and pages where people have compiled maybe top 5, top 10 lists of awesome locations in your area. My second tip is to go on Instagram if you have it and search hashtag and then your location. So again, hashtag Northern Ireland, hashtag Ireland, and this will bring up lots of videos and photos that other people are capturing in your area. My third tip for finding cool places to fly your drone is to go on YouTube and just search drone video. And again, this will help you find locations where other people are already flying their drones because they're good locations to fly a drone. And this will give you ideas of where you can take yours to get good videos and photos. Now, if location is king, then weather and lighting is queen. Tip number 2 as to why your drone footage might not look like the pros is probably the most frustrating one. Because you can travel to a location and maybe the weather isn't great or the lighting isn't great, but because you've traveled there, you think, I'm going to get drone videos anyway. You know, I'm getting an aerial perspective. I'm sure the weather will look fine because I'm looking down towards the ground. It generally never does. Or you think, I can spruce this up in my video editor. A little bit of color grade and I'll take this dull day to a sunny day. Dull days produce dull videos. That's just the reality. Now there's a few lighting conditions which generally give bad looking videos. Midday, when the sun is beating down towards the ground, can generally give you quite harsh looking video clips. Everything's lit really harshly. Or if it's a really dull day, there's barely any light. You know, one of them days it's just grey and dull looking. Well, that's what the videos end up looking like. So what's the solution? Well, this is why this is the most frustrating tip. If it's a bad day, just don't go out flying if you're trying to get great looking videos. Try to fly your drone on nice sunny days. If you want the best light, the best time to video is during golden hour. So this is just after sunrise or just before sunset. You'll generally get this really nice orange soft light being cast on everything, and everyone just looks so much better. Now another tip is if you want to capture really nice sunrises or sunsets, which let's be honest always look epic with a drone, you can use apps such as Alpenglow, which will give you a percentage prediction as to how good the sunrise or sunset's going to be. So you can try that. I personally find them apps to not be that reliable. There's been times where it said there's like a 10-20% chance of a nice sunrise or sunset. So you stay at home and then you look out your window and it's an absolutely beautiful sunset. So another method that I use, which seems to work more reliably, is you need 2 apps. Firstly, you want a weather app and you want to check to make sure that it's going to be sunny around the time of sunrise or sunset. And then you need an app which shows the cloud coverage. Clear outside is really good for this. And you just want to make sure that there's going to be little to no cloud coverage in the lower atmosphere. The reason for this is if you have a lot of cloud coverage in the low atmosphere, when the sun comes down to the horizon, it will just disappear behind clouds. That's caught me out a few times. And I've used this method to get a much higher chance of predicting a nice sunrise or sunset. So if you want to capture them, try that method out. Now, if you're using these tips and you do get epic video clips, then why not try and make a little bit of side income with them? And you can do that using today's video sponsor, which is Wirestock. Wirestock is a tool that helps you take the clips you capture with a drone such as the DJI Mini 3 Pro and easily sell them as stock to potentially make a little bit of side income. It's as simple as uploading the drone clips you have captured to their website, and then they distribute it to all the major stock marketplaces such as Pond5, Shutterstock, Adobe Stock, iStock, and more. To make things even easier for beginners, you can use Easy Submission, and they will go through and add all the metadata to each clip for you. This is great because it means you can focus on getting awesome footage using these tips, edit it, upload it, and let Wirestock handle the rest. The best thing about Wirestock is that you don't need multiple accounts on all the stock marketplace websites. You only have one account and one dashboard to track everything, including how many downloads you have had, and more importantly, the earnings for each clip. Wirestock also automatically creates a portfolio page for you, and you can use this to sell your stock directly to potential buyers by sending them the link. So if you want to try earning a little bit of side income by selling your drone footage as stock, then head to the link in the description where you can get started right now. Reason number 3 why your drone footage might not look like the pros is because you don't have a plan, or you're just hitting record and hoping for the best. You put the drone in the air, you hit record, you just fly it about for 30 minutes, hoping for the best. You land it, and you hope that within that 30-minute video, you have some golden nuggets that you can pluck from it to use as awesome little video clips. But that's rarely the case if you don't have a plan. So before I go to a location, I actually make a quick document. And on that document, I'll have screenshots of angles that I know look good, and next to that, some drone moves I'll do with them angles. But how do you find these angles which look good before you even take your drone off? Well, this goes back to the first tip, and that is using Instagram, Google Images, YouTube. And when you find an angle that you think looks good, simply screenshot it or simply make a mental note of it. And then when you get to a location, it's as simple as putting the drone up in the air, getting shot 1, getting shot 2, getting shot 3. You can do it really quick, and you know each one's going to be a banger because you already know roughly how it's going to look. And that leads me to tip 2. Don't take one long video. Don't take the drone off, hit record. Even if you know the angles you want, don't just hit record and then fly these angles, land it and stop recording, because you're going to waste tons of time combing through your video clip. And the other thing is, you want to know how long you're recording each angle for. I find myself, I have a tendency to think I've been recording for longer than I actually have. So if you were doing one long clip, you're not going to know how long each angle has been recording for. So you might think, okay, that's long enough. But whenever you cut that out and look at it on the computer, you maybe only held that angle for 4 or 5 seconds, which is not enough. So by recording each clip individually, you know how long you've been recording for, and you can get 20-30 seconds off that angle, and that's more than enough for posting on things like Instagram or YouTube. And lastly, know what drone moves you have just got so that all your clips are varied. If all you do is an orbit, it doesn't matter if you get an orbit in lots of different angles of a location, or even if you do an orbit in lots of different locations, when you put it together into a sequence, it can look very samey. It can all look very similar. And that's because you're doing the same drone move over and over. So as you move around drone angles, or as you move from location to location, always try to do different drone moves so that when you put them into a sequence, your sequence looks varied. And if you need drone move inspiration, I have a video showing you the only 7 drone moves you will ever need, and I'll put a link to that in the description down below. The 4th reason why your drone footage might not look like the pros is because of color grading. And this is even with the normal color profile. The normal color profiler is something like the DJI Mini 3 Pro, which is the one I use all the time, looks fantastic. But I find a little bit of color grading can make it pop. So the first method, and one I do all the time, again, you can do this on something like your iPhone, your mobile phone. It doesn't have to be in advanced video editing software. It's simply boosting saturation. No matter where I fly my drone, I find just increasing the saturation to maybe 110% from 100% always makes the videos pop. Now, the more advanced color grading method I use requires 3 different layers. So the first thing I do is I generally bring the exposure up for the ground. So I'll increase the exposure until the ground becomes much brighter. I'll then also increase the contrast, just because you seem to lose a little bit of contrast whenever you bring the exposure up. And as I explained in the beginner step, I'll boost the saturation just to make everything pop. That's layer 1. Now when you do this, because you've increased the exposure of the ground, what you'll find is you normally blow out the sky. It becomes completely white. So on my second layer, I actually mask the sky out. I'll filter it, just so my color grading to the sky doesn't look obvious, there isn't a harsh line. And this will bring back the sky because there's no color grading applied to this layer. Generally, the only thing I'll do to this sky layer is I'll maybe bring the shadows down to make the clouds stand out more. I might lower the highlights just a little bit, And again, I'll boost the saturation just to make the sky bluer. For my last layer, I actually add a vignette around my point of interest. So if it's off center, if it's up towards the top or over to the left, for example, I'll make the vignette around it, just so it draws your eye to the point of interest. The last reason why your drone footage might not look like the pros is don't keep taking the same video. You can go to lots of different locations. We have lots of epic castles across Northern Ireland, but if I went to each one and did a top-down shot, they would look basically the same to the viewer. So you need to vary it up, you need to keep it interesting, and you need to make sure you don't keep getting the same type of video time and time again. So how do we do that? Well, I've already covered drone moves, but there are lots of other ways that I'm now going to go through that you can use to make your video clips varied and interesting. The first is zoom. If you zoom all the way in, as you do a move such as an orbit, what you'll find is you get a really nice parallax motion. Parallax is where the foreground and background move at different speeds, and this can give you a really interesting perspective and a really unique clip. You could also zoom while doing a move. You could do something called a zoom orbit, which is as you do an orbit with your drone, you zoom in at the same time, adding another motion to your move to get a super epic clip. You can also use time of day. So as well as getting clips during the daytime, you can capture them at sunrise or sunset and have it in the background. And here's a tip I've been doing recently to get awesome clips. If you have a nice orange sunrise or sunset in the background, darken your image down a bit to where your point of interest or foreground subject is a silhouette in front of that sunrise or sunset, and you get this awesome clip with an orange background, an orange sky, and your point of interest silhouetted in front of it to get an epic clip. Why not get low to the ground? Just because your drone can fly high doesn't mean every video clip you get with it should be from high in the sky. And remember, your gimbal can actually tilt up. So if your point of interest is on the edge of a cliff, for example, you could put the drone down low over the water, point the gimbal up to it, where you're flying low along the water, looking up at your point of interest. So get creative, get low to the ground, and give that a try to vary up your clips. You could also try using slow motion. So if you're in a location with a lot of movement, such as maybe waves crashing over rocks, then why not try the slow motion mode and try to capture one of them waves crashing over the rocks, maybe in front of your point of interest. If you're feeling a little bit more adventurous, why not try flying close to objects? So if you're pushing forward towards a waterfall, for example, try and fly close to the overhanging branches so you get these foreground objects passing in front of the camera close to get an epic looking clip. And I have a tip if you're going to do that. You probably want to turn obstacle avoidance off. The obstacle avoidance on something like the DJI Mini 3 Pro is fantastic, but I find it can be a little bit sensitive. So if you're flying close to a branch and maybe the branch is just above the drone, even though you would clear it no problem, the obstacle avoidance can kick in and just make the drone stop. So if you're confident enough, turn it off, and that way you'll be able to fly close to the objects. And another tip is, actually, I find it easier to watch the drone in real life. It's much easier to see if I'm going to pass branches, for example, or objects close to the drone in real life if I just watch it instead of relying on the screen. So just stand behind your drone, look straight down the line of where your drone's going to fly, and that way you'll be able to make sure that it's going to clear them obstacles. So there you have it. There's 5 reasons why your drone footage might not look like the pros and how to fix it. Hopefully these tips help you get much more varied, interesting and epic clips. Now if you liked this video and you've learned something new, please let me know by giving me the thumbs up and clicking that like button down below. And if you love all things drones and want to know how to get better videos and more cinematic photos with your drone, then I recommend you check out my channel where I have a ton of other content to help you level up your drone game. Make sure to click that subscribe button and make sure the notification bell is on so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And if you want to stick around and watch a few more of them now, here's a few I personally recommend. I'll not keep you back any further. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you over there.